2020 will be remembered as the year when the aviation industry was brought down to its knees by a pandemic which caught the world by storm. COVID-19 has left airlines and airports reeling from the deep plunge in the global passenger traffic. Flights have all but disappeared from the skies.
Broadcasting live from CBS Kuala Lumpur. Good morning, everyone. It's a sunny day, December 15, 2020, and I am Maliha Muzaffar, bringing to you all the latest and the most leading news of the hour. Your news, our business. The breaking news for now. The effects of COVID-19 on airline industry, especially its demand and its pricing model. Unprecedented freefall has forced many airlines to the brink of bankruptcies. The demand has fallen and the losses have run into billions of dollars, but the outlook gets darker and darker by the day. Demand of the airline industry has been shaken terribly and the passengers have been taken away. Not only low-cost airlines have been hit hard by the sudden travel meltdown, but also the full-fledged airlines have not at all been spared. Many are now struggling to recover from the fall in the passenger demand and the sharp decline in revenue. Several airlines in the US and the UK have been collapsed and many others may follow suit. Pilots have been laid off, employees have been sent on unpaid leaves and whatnot. The impact does not seem to stop. Even the International Air Transport Association expects the airlines to lose some $85 billion in 2020. And the effect is the largest in the history. This has never been seen at all by the aviation industry.
Well, now the question arises, how has the demand been affected and will the airlines ever expect a pullback in its demand since the airline is about to enter a critical period? Well, welcoming today's guest, the aviation expert Ms. Zuha, joining us live from Karachi, Pakistan. Good morning, Zuha.
Good morning, Maliha. Thank you for having me over on your show. As you can see, the future of the aviation sector is shaped by customer demand and changing expectations regarding the consumer experience. As a result, there has been a dramatic drop in demand for airline industries due to the change in the behavior of passengers following the COVID-19 crisis, travel restrictions, and the resulting economic crisis. If you talk about the basic law of demand, there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded of goods and services. However, talking about the airline industry in particular, the COVID-19 crisis and the uncertainty that followed is considered to be a determinant of demand, which means that this will cause the demand curve to shift to the left. In most scenarios, any new normal is expected to see reduced demand for businesses and leisure air travel. Businesses and consumers alike will opt for virtual connections and remote working in light of budget constraints and virus uncertainties. Right now, we are in the period where you're going to see September schedules locked in and then the early plans of October starting to be formulated by the airline. There are fewer people flying in September than in August. They are going to be down 59% compared to September of last year, pulling back exactly 11% compared to the same schedule they were flying in August. Additionally, international schedule is also down by 77% versus a year ago. And here's the issue. We have seen passenger levels spread between 70 and 75% lower compared to the same time last year. If you look at this chart, it's very clear that you are not going to see that uptake that the airline industry was expecting. As of right now, the focus of airlines is to prepare for layoffs. They have already sent out notices to the union members who may be affected.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Zuha, for explaining to us how has the demand been fallen.
Next, we have with us Mr. Moustafa, who has been the former Frontier Airlines CEO. He's joining us live from Riyadh, Saudi, and he'll be sharing his point of views regarding the airline pricing model.
Thank you, Maliha, for inviting me to your channel. Well, COVID-19 has slumped the demand of the airline industry. As already mentioned by Ms. Zuha, the airline industry did downsize their schedule, cut back on routes, furlough employees, uploaded assets, but regardless of this, it cannot fully solve the problem of pushing up the demand. Compared to 2019, when 85 to 96% seats were booked to 2020, where nothing seems to have happened, there were no bookings at all. Usually, the pricing strategy is done by computers, and so is the complex management revenue. In the beginning of 2020, around early March, since the bookings fell down abruptly, the computers lowered down the prices to raise up the demand as per the law of demand, which says the price and the quantity demanded of any good and service are inversely related to each other. When the price of a product increases, the demand for the same product will fall. So, in order to increase the fall in demand, it lowered the prices. But that didn't help since people were not ready to fly. Formerly, the prices of the airlines would increase and decrease as per the demand or the season or even festivals. But now, after the COVID-19 pandemic, the pricing does not depend on that at all. Because, as I said, the consumer behavior has changed. People are scared to travel. Now, at least domestic airlines have started to work again. Of course, the demand is not as much as it was before 2020, but there's at least a slight improvement in demand as people are now willing to travel just out of pure boredom. Well, selling a cheap ticket to increase the demand over no ticket at all is always worth it. Price fluctuations are a part and parcel of the airline industry. So, of course, keeping all of this in view, the pricing strategy this time is taken over and controlled by human beings, keeping in view the law of demand.
Mustafa, it was really good to have you here, and thank you for explaining to us what actually is the airline pricing model and how it's gonna work. It was really informative. Hope you'll join our channel in the future also. Thank you.
Well, COVID 19 will undoubtedly leave a long term impact on the aviation industry. And to speak on the same, I would like to invite Dr. Masood from Tripoli, Libya. Good morning, Dr. Masood.
Thank you, Maliha, for inviting me in your channel. Your question was how coronavirus or COVID-19 has effect on fly industry in the long term. As all we know, flying from country to others and state from others has been stopped because of restrictions has been imposed by government, and has been stopped flying is not because of the coronavirus itself, but also because of the government restrictions. And so many countries has been gone, has been bankrupted because they cannot reach the margin, they cannot reach the break-even point. So nowadays so many companies has been gone, and so many companies has been combined and become as one company. And a lot of companies that try to push their customers to book earlier. Like for example, since 3 months ago, you can book for January.
Thank you, Dr. Masood. It was a pleasure having you here. Well, I guess now we're all clear on how COVID-19 will impact airline industry in long term. Thank you very much.
No industry has been more affected than aviation industry. Even though if everything turns normal, it's still going to take a long time to recover to its normal state of demand, and it's also not sure whether the customer behavior will still be the same as it was before COVID-19. And also airlines can't get back to pre-crisis level at least before 2023.
Now, welcoming our very own journalist, Yang Feng, live from Beijing, China, who will explain a little on the steps taken by the aviation industry in order to recover.
It is still very difficult to predict the accident, how the recovery of the sector will evolve the entry around to the continued impact of the COVID-19 virus. Remains. Next, airlines are developing expensive to the rebuilding the travels, the confidence is the important for the airlines to rebuild the passengers loyalty and trust, especially in terms of the last COVID-19 update the food impaction and as well as the strains the info such as the despictions of the airlines the act.
Well, over and all, it can be concluded that aviation has been hit really bad, and it's gonna take a lot of time for the aviation industry to come back to its normal state. Well, it was a pleasure having you all in today's news here with us, and hope to meet you soon in the near future. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.